Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We will be discussing how Cleveland Golf integrated multiple systems with JD Edwards using Magic XPI integration platform. I'd like to introduce our two speakers. Our first speaker is Lori McCartan, who is our Vice President here at Magic Software in the US, and Charles Chamberlain, IT Director at Shrixon Cleveland Golf. So without further delay, I want to hand it over to my favorite esteemed VP.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'd like to talk a little bit about modern integration, Magic integration, which we think is a great example of modern integration. And then Cleveland Golf, Charles Chamberlain will also talk about how Magic was deployed in his environment and how it allowed him to grow into different environments, yet keep all the integrations intact. A little bit about Magic. We are a global organization, and we are a developer of application development platforms and application integration platforms. We've been around a very long time, founded in 1983, and our global headquarters is in Tel Aviv, Israel. We run 24 other offices across the globe, and our North American headquarters is here in sunny Southern California, where we reside. Magic is a publicly traded firm. It is traded both on the NASDAQ as well as the Israeli Stock Exchange. And we are present in 50 countries, 24 countries with our own offices, and the rest of the countries are handled by Magic distributors. Last year, we did about $260 million in revenues, and that was up from the previous year, which is always good. And we did that with about 1,800 employees. We support 3,000 business partners, happy business partners, I should say, and millions of happy end users today. We are an Oracle Platinum Partner and a Platinum Partner of the Quest International Users Group as well. So just a little bit about Magic, alliances and our awards. We are, as I said, an Oracle Platinum Partner. We do have a very keen interest in the Oracle JD Edwards space, both for World as well as JD Edwards E1. But we do play with other Oracle applications as well, including EBS and all their cloud applications, their cloud CX solutions. We are gold partners with SAP and Microsoft, and IBM is a partner of ours as well. And we, of course, play with all of the major CRM providers because it is a native integration to, or native need to integrate CRM to ERP. So we hope to see you all at Collaborate this year. Collaborate 18 will be held in Las Vegas at the Monterey Bay, April 22nd. So make sure you look us up if you're going to be there as well. When we talk about integration, modern integration, Magic integration, I want you to think about us as a platform. And inside that platform are all the tools that you need to create all the integrations that your customer needs or that your company needs. It is multi-use. So you can reuse it, you can scale it, and you can do lots of different things for it. But we sit in the middle of all your different applications, whether they are behind your firewall or in your buildings, or they are external, maybe in the cloud, or maybe they sit in somebody else's buildings. It doesn't matter to us where they are, but we will orchestrate the business processes between all of those applications in the ways that you tell us to do. We listen to how you run your business, and the business rules and policies are written according to that business that you may have. We make it easy to use Magic XPI for JD Edwards. It is, you basically, within the toolkit, are given about 100 generic adapters and connectors that you use to create flows. A flow to us is your logic, and you drag these connectors and drop them where you want them to be to create that logic and what you want to do, according to the rules and policies or according to the business processes that your specific company needs. You can figure the steps. And then, of course, if you need to transform the data, there is one area where you can do so. The most common integrations that we do for people running JD Edwards today are CRM, and again, that can be on-premise CRM, the older-fashioned ones like Siebel, or it could be the more current ones that are cloud-based, CRMs like Oracle Sales Cloud, Salesforce, Sugar CRM, Dynamics CRM, etc. A lot of times we run into people who have multiple or disparate ERP systems. Could happen through merger and acquisition or things of that nature, or they could be in the process of migrating from a JD Edwards maybe to an EBS. And a lot of times people will use Magic XPI to integrate ERP to ERP, and again, they could be on-prem or in the cloud. E-commerce, of course, has that native need to be integrated to JD Edwards, as well as web portals. If you want to be ordering parts from one of your manufacturers, you can do that ordering through a web portal. All the common ones like Magento, Shopify, Shopatron, and Woo are platforms that we have worked with, but everybody works on standards for web services. Magic XPI can provide and consume web services, so we do make it easy to access those types of applications. Supply chain is always supply chain, I should say, is always in need of integration. There's many, many, many pieces that complete the full supply chain, from raw materials all the way down to the finished goods and how they get those finished goods to the consumers. And integration is something that everybody in that manufacturing needs to be aware of to make sure that you can have that smooth, full supply chain be efficient. And so we work a lot with that as well. And of course, in supply chain, sometimes we run into product lifecycle management, which is Oracle Agile, Oracle in the Cloud, Celerant, Windchill, and things of that nature, where we help them when they're building custom products. So we help them with item masters, bill of materials, engineering change orders, etc. And we do that also through Magic XPI. SharePoint, email processes, Active Directory, really basically we can automate any workflow process that you may have. It could be as simple as having an Excel spreadsheet that today you are manually inputting into JDE. Magic XPI can automate that process for you. And then we find with the JD Edwards people, and I'm sure with anybody, that when you run manufacturing and distribution facilities in foreign countries like Brazil and Mexico, they have their own requirements that they need you to automatically send invoices to the government, or they may automatically have you send accounting history to the government. And of course, we do automate those processes as well. CPQ is coming up in the world for people. They want to be able to work with their proposals and quotes and get that information in and out of the ERP system, as well as EDI is always very, very common. Consider a flexible approach. We think that this is key also to when you're evaluating different integration solutions. You want to look for that support for all applications and all models of their delivery, whether they are on-prem, they're in the cloud, if they're mobile, wireless, IoT, it doesn't matter. But one thing that I think is a key component to successful integration is being able to monitor what's going on. We kind of call that the good, the bad, and the ugly here internally. You need to see the transactions that are successful. You can see how long those transactions take to begin and complete, but you can also see if a transaction has failed. And if that transaction has failed, depending upon the rules and policies we put in, you can retry 5 times, 6 times. If it continues to fail, then that catastrophic an error alert is sent out to whomever is covering that, so that you can make sure you pay attention to whatever's happening to have that catastrophic failure. You want to make sure that your integration is easy to use, that it's code-free, drag, drop, and configure, and wizard-driven. And of course, you want to make sure that you have a non-production sandbox or development area, as well as the production area. We never want to have people developing on the production box. It's definitely not best practices. So with Magic XPI, you receive two instances so that you can do that. And we want to make sure that when you're developing that initial project, which we call it is a flow, that's your logic, that it is easy to maintain that in a visual way. But also, as we all know, IT changes all the time. Your needs change all the time. So you need to have an easy way to maintain that logic and make it change along with your business structure and business processes. Integration should be bidirectional, and you have to be able to transform that data, and you have to support all business processes according to your needs, not what the integration wants you to do. Has to be real-time and or scheduled events, and fully agnostic, fully scalable, fully reusable, and future-proof, because we know things change. Professional services are required to develop the customized integration that your company will need, because every company has different needs. And then, of course, it's important to train your own people fully if they want to do the integrations on their own afterwards, great, or just to be able to maintain and see what's going on, or maybe modify things. It's always important as well. But we do offer full technical support here for Magic to support you at any time. Some of our customers have us do all their work, and some of our customers have us train them, and they do all their work and only use us when needed. So we've talked about the development capabilities, code-free. You have 100 different adapters and connectors that are included in the box. It is visual data mapping and transformation. We have the certified adapters for the fee-based application endpoint adapters like JDE, like SAP. And it is a drag, drop, and configure, wizard-driven. The monitoring, of course, as I said, is one of the most important keys, I think, for successful integration as well. And then, to continue being competitive, we want to talk about deployment capabilities. Is it high performance? Do you have the server on multiple platforms? So you know that we've talked about it comes with a development or non-production environment and production. Some of our clients like to add a test environment to that too. So you can have 2 or 3 servers, and you can cluster those servers and take advantage of the built-in 24/7 availability and automatic failover and redundancy. So if you're running a business that's across the globe, that's important, and you can do that using Magic XPI. We have the extended monitoring that we talk about and the project management. We have the versatility that you want to be competitive, and you always want to make sure that it is platform agnostic. Magic offers full services here in North America. We have technical support here, which is free to end users and as free as well to partners here in North America in our California office. And then we offer the training classes on site for the end users, and we offer general classes here in our Laguna Hills training facility 4 times a year. Professional services, we offer those, of course, according to your needs. We can do the project end-to-end following our best practices. We can train you, let you shadow us while we do that, so that the second project you can do in a hybrid model with us. Or if you get to doing things all on your own, get stuck a little bit, we're happy to provide coaching on an hourly basis. So we are very easy to work with, and we hope that you understand that. Now, Charles is going to speak about Cleveland Golf and his experience with Magic XPI. Charles, shipping it over to you.
This is just a transition of our building. I saw, give a shout out to John Gornick. I see him out there. We used to be situated right next to Ushio Industries, and we moved to Huntington Beach as Cleveland Golf. Today we're Cleveland Golf Strixon Golf, and we flipped the Strixon Cleveland Golf, and we've added our brand Zexio, which is a up-and-coming, high-end, high-quality product for golfers with slow golf speeds. And to show the Strixon involvement with Cleveland Golf, here's some world-class players with one of our marketing slides. And here's some of those players holding trophies to support the world-class involvement and participation with winners. Hideki Matsuyama, number 3 or 4 in the world today, steady player. Graham McDowell, Russell Cox, proven PGA Tour winners. So, as I mentioned briefly before, our first project was our e-commerce. We started that in 2010, and it was 100% implemented by Magic. I touched on the 4 APIs that we deployed. Today, we're processing about 250 orders a day through e-commerce, which is our Salesforce Commerce Cloud product. So Salesforce Commerce Cloud, it's an industry-leading enterprise cloud solution, commerce solution, cloud-based service unifying the way business engage with customers over any channel or device. So for us, we receive our orders via Salesforce Commerce Cloud, drop them into our standard order-to-cash business flows, ship our product, update the Sales Commerce Cloud with tracking information, shipping information, and notifications that the product's been shipped, and this is to consumers. Our Manhattan Associates scaled WMS. This was a major commitment to use Magic inside the building for real-time active transactions. So we started this project in July 2012, 100% integrated with Magic. And when we started this project, we had very little integration information with our supplier because our supplier was not JD Edwards or E1 at the time. So we had some figuring out to do and how to bring these two systems together. So we did that with Magic, we did that with XML files, and we did that with a lot of trial and error on our side and our Magic developer side. And let me add that. My current Magic developer, his name is Volvo, and he's, for me, since 2011, I cannot tell you how well and how good of a support agreement and relationship that we have. This just shows the support that we have with Magic. He's almost an external portion of my IT team here, and I totally appreciate his efforts every day. So anyway, back to scale interface projects, they're all interfaced via XML with Magic. So now the trick was moving from World to E1. How are we going to do that? So not only did we move from World to E1, but at the same time we moved from on-prem to the cloud or to private cloud. We brought in a bunch of servers. We did some testing. We moved everything around, and so our ERP files changed. In the World, we had custom files that we were integrating with. In E1, we switched to Z files, which, by the way, is a lot easier, but we didn't know that then. Like as I mentioned, our data center changed. Volvo, my resource, quickly built out the difference. So in this project, the left side map for scale, none of that changed. Only the inbound side to E1. And we, while we're mapping, Volvo probably can add on some technical issues that we had, but for me, the basic issues were some field formatting issues with null values that are different in the Oracle database, some dating issues, and some minor definitions of how the Z file processors work. So the Z file mapping was pretty straightforward. So today, as I mentioned before, we've migrated from World to E1. And something that was really nice on that, when you're changing, and the more you can keep the same, the better comfort level you have. So when we changed from World to E1, we kept our exact dashboards that we were using. Lori mentioned before in her presentation about the dashboards and the ability to see transactions. And when we went from World to E1 on the Magic side, operating and managing the interface files, there was exactly no difference. And we later found out that E1 was a little easier to work with World, but when you're transitioning, going live, and we have this continuity of business and familiarity, that was a major impact on our success from moving from World to E1. And all that was with some minor tweaking in our mappings. So this is my visual drawing of the major portion of our operations for everybody technical that wants to see how we do this, and this is what that's going to do. So on the green side is our receiving area, and let's go through one flow with our smart integrated into JD Edwards or E1. We receive our product, and you can see in that green section we drop down to our flow. We call that M20 to keep track of these flows. M20 picks up that transaction and creates a file that later gets moved into the scale to update the inventory so the inventory stays synced up. Same process with returns. We collect a return, trigger the 4211 as a return, and once we get it to proper status, which will take 560, we create the inventory transaction update scale so their inventory stays synced. So not only does we plan on inventory, one of the dashboard reports that we do have is we use Magic to go into our scale database, attack the inventory files, and then compare those values to our JD Edwards files, and so that we can create a kind of an ad hoc cycle counting discrepancy report. We do that with Magic dashboard. Okay, and our blue section is our work order section. Work order gets printed. Our MO5 picks it up and then drops it out to our floor, and that blue arrow goes around. We do our issues. Issues update our inventory, so our M17 updates our inventory transactions. The work order then at the same time processes through the left side on our M15 map, just going through each cycle. So, you know, we have grips that we cut, then we grip them, and then we size them, and add some serial numbers, and serial numbering is part of our Magic implementation as well, until we complete the product. And once we complete the product, we create an FIXML file that updates our inventory, again, keeping it in sync. The pink section is our sales orders. So that in a nutshell, if sales order gets the 5.6 status 560 picked, we pick it up, we move it to 565. That transmits the XML file to Scale. Now Scale can pick the order up, pick, pack, and ship. When Scale ships, they send back us a file. So you see the load confirm load truck at the bottom. They ship us a load confirm file. That file goes into the 47 files, 47.131, 47.132, and we process our shipments. And this is the same area where we add our freight lines. And the right section is we built this one kind of ad hoc at the end of our E1 project for our third-party warehouses. So when an order picks, the order actually, the pick ticket will still print in our third-party warehouses, and this is where we'll logo our wedges and logo our golf balls. So those pick tickets will print out in those third-party warehouses that are in San Diego. And at the same time that this order prints, we also created a record in our FedEx file, which is mapped to our FedEx shipping station. So the FedEx shipping station is mapped directly back into our system. We update the file with a freight record, and then that allows them to ship the product. And when they upload the tracking number, we drop that back down in our 47.132 file to create the freight record in JD Edwards, and that completes our cycle for our third-party shipments. Okay, next. And SPS EDI. So we integrate all of our EDI through Magic, and this is another commitment to use Magic to integrate. Today we have roughly 20 live customers in process right now. We're still implementing our Dunlop tennis branch, which I'll speak of a little later. Again, 100% integrated by Magic. And about 60% of orders today are traded via EDI, whether it's EDI or e-commerce. And all those files coming through in XML. So Magic integrating SPS with our Enterprise One. And another thing that helped us out during our migration from World to E1 is that since our WMS scale was in Scale, we create our shipment file. Magic picks up the shipment file and creates our 856 ASN documents. And as you know, that's one of the most complicated portions to stay compliant with when you go from one system to the next. And because we were able to just keep Scale the same, that helped our process through migrating and it was another one of those factors that led to commonality and comfort zone while we went to from World to E1. And just recently, we added Dunlop Tennis, so it's part of the Sumitomo Rubber Industries. Dunlop Sports is part of our group, and we just Dunlop Tennis into our operations. We created them their new branch plant. They're in South Carolina, so we have printers and servers and what we need in South Carolina. They're running E1, and we migrated them roughly in about 3 months. So it was a pretty quick implementation. And we did, through them, we converted customers, items, purchase orders, sales orders, shipments, and then we're working through EDI today. And then this is an example, this IEZ is an example of a situation that we had where we noticed that we had a trending opportunities, little marketing opportunities for people to create orders, and our sales reps and sales managers were creating hundreds of little order situations that required a lot of order entry. So with Volvo, our technical resource, we came up with a plan to standardize an Excel format, and from the Excel format, the reps could enter their orders, drop them in the mail. We had to intercept them from mail, drop them in the shared folder, and run those orders through our 850 process, again, leveraging more processes that we're already using. And this is our mapping, just a little mapping demonstration of from the CSV file into the 47012, which is the file order entry detail file. I wanted to add that during our World to E1 conversion, not everything gets spec'd out in the consulting agreement, and a big file was left out of the migration, and that was moving our serial numbers from World to E1. So what we did is we just I gave Volvo a call, talked to him, and we just ended up mapping a World, our World custom serial number file to our E1 custom serial file, and pulled the data over. And so that was an opportunity for Magic to jump in and save us a lot of development time on the consulting side, just to update a file. So that's all I had. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that come down after this. And appreciate your efforts and time you spent with me today.
Thank you, Charles, so much. We really appreciate your time. And thank you, everyone, for your time. And thank you for joining our webinar. This concludes our webinar.